I'm headed for a land that's far away, beside the crystal fountain. So come with me, we'll go and see the big rock candy mountains.
And we're coming in hot. Once again, the great classic rock debate. I'm Kenny.
And Paul, I have no qualifications. This is why Kenny has defeated me every time in the great rock and roll debate. I'm 0 for 14, and I love it.
As long as you love it, my friend. We talk anything, everything classic rock, and we try to keep it interesting. Quick shout out to the Professor of Rock and Rick Beato, two of my favorite YouTube channels. Always awesome, always. Okay, so if I understand correctly, you sort of threw out, maybe we'll talk about songs that are about being in the industry. Is that
record
right?
Industry? Yeah, because it's interesting on a couple of levels. Is like, what would they actually say? What they're really feeling? Because the people the executives hear it,
right?
And I just think maybe they just realize it's out in the open, and that's why Woody Allen, I think it was, or no, it might have been Louis B. Mayer, said it's not called show, it's called show business.
Right.
So we have to make money. We want you to do what you want to do as well, but we have to be able to make money. That's why capitalism works, right?
Right. Okay, so I have to tell you that just off the top of my head, I could hardly name any songs. But then when I Googled it, I go, wow, there's a bunch, and a bunch of pretty good songs too.
I Googled it myself because I knew songs that aren't on the list because maybe the list was old or the person doesn't have the reach and understanding of what it has.
Right. Well, it happens. I mean, that's true. A lot of times these guys, I don't want this to sound like I'm, being elitist, but a lot of times these guys writing articles, columns about, classic rock songs, they're 24 years old. So I probably a nice guy, but your qualifications are just a little bit limited there.
Think about the irony of writing songs about the industry of classic rock songs, but you're getting your source from the classic rock was being broadcast.
Right. Oh yeah, exactly.
You're like, well, hold on, you're missing all the, so I thought, just because I'm curious to, like one of the songs, you will go ahead and start off.
Okay. Well, the song that you mentioned, which sort of initiated this whole idea, was "Workin For MCA" by Leonard Skinner, right? And it's a song that pretty much everybody knows. Well, I mean, it wasn't a big hit, but because Leonard Skinner has transcended all sorts of lines between hits and non-hits and that kind of thing, it's a song that pretty much everybody knows. And there's a little backstory behind it, which I didn't really know. They had initially signed with some small label.
Yeah.
Several years
or something like that.
Yeah, Songs from the South. Several years before anyone had ever heard of them, but that small label was being distributed by MCA. So Leonard Skinner was brought in to do a little demo, mini concert or whatever in front of these MCA executives. And so they did that song, which they probably wrote quickly just to have something. They did that song sort of as a, I hate to say a butt kissing type of thing. In a way, that's what it is. But they're pretty much just trying to tell these guys, not only are we talented, but we're team players. We're hoping that you guys sign us, and we wrote a song just for that purpose. So when it's all said and done, it's a song with sort of a positive intent. I'm pointing that out because more than 50%, at least of the songs that I found, songs about the industry, have a very negative outlook.
Well, I think, like, knowing, not that I ever met Ronnie Van Zant, but if we were to meet the band members, I think that was more, this is my humble know-nothing opinion, that was more tongue-in-cheek. Because he's like,
could have been.
We're gonna make lots of money. It's like, how they pitch, these pitch men will say all this garbage,
Right.
And but yeah, no, I can't think. Well, actually, there is another. All right, so do you have another positive song about the industry?
Well, I think I think this is probably the single greatest positive song about the industry, if we keep our boundaries loose, that was ever recorded. And that is Life's Been Good by Joe
Oh,
Walsh.
yes.
Because that whole song is about the lifestyle of excess based upon all the money he makes as a rock star. So
that's another one of those songs, and it's, I don't know if it's old age. I could not, when that song came on until I was 30, I would click it off on the radio. It was like, it's like this long. As the older I get, I realize what bloody genius it is.
Right. I agree. By the way, you just pointed something out interesting. The full-length album version, which I think might have been from that movie, FM. Did you ever see that movie? I'm pretty sure it was. It's about 7 minutes long, but the edited radio version was about probably just under 4 minutes. And if it's one of those songs that if you're going to invest the time to listen to, you owe it to yourself to listen to that full-length version, because it's really good.
And I don't know I know you know more about this area where Joe Walsh went off and did some stuff. I mean, I can't remember what year he joined the Eagles, and then I know they kind of split up with different ways that he did some solo projects. I mean, the guy is just mind-blowingly talented.
Right.
And it's because that was not an Eagles project.
Correct. Oh, by the way, since we're on this topic, let me just mention this in passing. We're not going to stay on it, but a few years ago, I went back and listened to some of the old James Gang stuff, which was Joe Walsh's group from the late 60s and early 70s. Okay, I think classic rock plays 1 or 2 songs by them. It's a crime. There's so many good songs. I couldn't believe how good they are. And I said, wow, what a shame that they just play the same. Funk 49, I think, is one of them.
Walk Away.
And Walk Away. I think that's the 2 songs by the James Gang that they play. And it's just a shame because there's so much good material. Anyway, we're not going to stay on that, but just wanted to throw it out there real quick.
Another song I'm pretty sure you don't know. It's called Mr. Record Man. It's by Ugly Kid Joe.
I do not know that song. I know Ugly Kid Joe.
This is one of the last songs of one of their first 2 albums, Menace Society, or I forgot the name of the other one now. But it's kind of like a ballady. It's upbeat, and they don't play the really hard. It's Mr. Record Man, please take a look at me. They want to be noticed, and they're acting humble, and it's like this aspirational song. It's a really good song.
Okay.
Ugly Kid Joe.
Okay, sounds good.
By the way.
I think I saw something about that recently.
And then the third album they made, I didn't like it. And it was almost like, I'm not going to accuse them of having Bostonitis, but it was less in your face, less. Those first 2 albums are man, they are
right.
A bad word. They are like, it's in your face, and it's awesome. And one of the songs, I don't want to we'll talk about Ugly Kid Joe another day, but Mr. Record Man, great song.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, so shall I just start with the particular list that I had pulled up here?
Yeah, just go.
Or do you want to just go back and forth?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, because the first song on this list is the song Have a Cigar by Pink Floyd, okay?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to confess, I've heard this song, I don't know, perhaps a billion, that's with a B, billion times in my life. I always thought the name of the song was Riding the Gravy Train or something like that. I don't think I knew the name of the song. I did not know the name of the song was Have a Cigar. And I definitely didn't know what the song was about. And for the record, most of the songs on this list that I found on Google, I did not know lyrically what they were about. And this is sort of, enlightening for me.
Yeah,
learning this.
I think you and I read the same list today, because I was like, yeah, I know that song, but I didn't. Like, Pink Floyd, they played the same. I mean, they played Dark Side of the Moon songs 447 trillion times.
Right.
And some of their stuff is awesome. I'm not trying to rip out.
Agree, yeah.
It's the same thing as Stairway to Heaven. I love it. I love it. I love it. But after a billion times, I could go 10 years without hearing it.
Right.
I'm sure Led Zeppelin says the same thing. Like, they don't want to hear it, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, all right, your turn. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, let me finish on this one now.
Sorry.
On Have a Cigar. Apparently, there's a backstory there. When they first went in to meet some record executives in an office, they sat down. They were young guys and sort of shy about, what they should say and what they shouldn't say. And these guys in suits were walking around clearly like they owned the place. And one of them said to them, I really like your guys' sound. By the way, which one is Pink?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. It made me think of that movie Bohemian Rhapsody because
Exactly right.
Oh, it's anybody who hasn't seen that movie, it is so good. It's so good. And
Mike Myers, right? The scene with Mike Myers.
Well, yeah, it illustrates this enormous chasm between the artist and the record executives, because when Queen starts selling records, they're not really getting rich, whereas the record executives are, and they're saying, hey, what the hell's going on here? How come we're not making any money? And so perhaps lots of artists have experienced that. So when Pink Floyd went in to meet with these guys, it couldn't have been better illustrated just how detached and how removed the record executives are from the actual artists and the music itself, because he asked them, which one of you is Pink, which is a ridiculous question.
There was a tribute tour or band, I can't remember now. Pink Floyd fans, don't get mad at me. And that was the name of their tour. Which one's Pink?
Oh, okay. Right. Oh, I remember that.
It's kind of like Led Zeppelin. Whoever it was it Keith Moon? That bomb will go down like Led Zeppelin. Like, hey, we're liking that. And they took it, and one's Pink.
Right. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
I know where you're going to go if you're going to this list. I'm going to say the ones. I only have to have a couple more that I know. Another band, it's called The Darkness, one of my favorite all-time bands.
Right.
And they have a song called Solid Gold.
Okay, I don't know it.
It's about them meeting this record guy, and he starts talking. We're gonna. They use a lot of profanity in this band, which is one of the reasons I love them. But he goes, we're gonna blow their blanking heads off. That's how good we are, because we're gonna be, uses the real word, we're gonna be pooping out solid gold.
Okay.
We're awesome, and you better sign us. It's really a cocky, like, we're better than you are. You need to sign us, or you're an idiot. It's a really good. It's it's kind of a catchier ballader song, what they normally play, but it's a good song, and it's like when you could, and it goes when he hears what's in his stupid ears, like, they realize that these executives are stupid. Like, they're hearing something, and like, and then the like with Queen. Let's see, I'm hearing this, but I'm seeing 5,000 people in the audience.
Right.
This is what happened with this band, Rage Against the Machine. They went like double platinum, and they had one video, and they were not playing on radio, period.
Correct, yeah.
How was this possible, right? So, so that's my song. That's my next one. So your turn.
Okay, next one is going to be So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star by the Byrds. By the way, I think Tom Petty covered that, I think.
Yes, I think that's,
okay. Yeah. His cover was really good, but when I say really good, it wasn't because he did anything crazy or whatever. It just sounded a lot like their version, which is, in my opinion, a really good song.
Yeah. You gotta stop me from going off on tangents, but I'm going to do one now.
Go ahead.
The band I worshiped called The Sword does a cover of Don't Do Me Like That, I Said It to You by Tom Petty. And their version's better than Tom Petty's version.
Right.
Yeah. So go. I don't.
Well, I'll just add a few lines about that song. So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star. So it was in the 60s, 67 or something like that is where that song is from. And so, of course, at that stage, they're very young and just entering the music business, and they're sort of sending out a message. I don't think it's intended to be a big negative, but at the same time, it says, so all you guys out there who are picking up your guitars and aspiring to be rock and roll stars, Like, yeah, there's a good thing, but then they sort of throw in the part about the negative, where you have to sell your soul for this and that, whatever. So it's not the whole song is not a beat down, but it blends some upside and downside both together, and being very catchy. Okay, but that's all I'm going to say on it. Go ahead.
The song I know, I'm not going to steal your thunder. I know it's on the list, and it's one of my favorite songs of all time. It's Barracuda by Heart.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay. Before you say another word,
no, go ahead.
Okay. I have to confess, for all of these years until today, I did not know that that's what this song was about. I just thought, usually when you have a female vocalist and she makes any sort of metaphorical references to predators, it's guys being predators, but not so much record executives or record insiders. So apparently, because the two Wilson sisters were attractive, this was what, 75 or 76? Yeah, really, really attractive. But there was no known relationships. Either they were keeping it quiet or just wasn't public. Somebody asked them in a very leading way if there was something going on between the two of them.
Yes.
And they were both enraged and angered and furious over such an insulting, offensive question. So they wrote the song Barracuda about this dude frothing at the mouth who's just looking for any lame reason to create something out of nothing. He's just in a feeding frenzy, I suppose. So, and it's funny. I always thought, man, that song has a real edge to it. And usually there has to be some real, genuine anger or something really impassioned, perhaps anger, to create that sort of a sound. So in this case, there was. I just didn't know about it. It's a great song.
I saw like 20 years ago, I saw an interview with Ann Wilson, and she's imitating the guy's voice and her voice. Hey, he's like the serial over the top, porn star producer voice. Hey, you so
right.
Barracuda. And anyone in Florida knows what a barracuda is. If you're not in Florida, it's this long fish. It will strike, and it hurts. And that's why in Florida they tell you don't wear silver or gold in the water.
Right.
Because they see it as a fish and they strike it.
Right. And it's a predator, and it has a mouth with it's full of teeth, almost like a shark. Yeah, yeah. Razor.
You do not want to get struck.
No, not at all.
And,
okay, you got one? You want me to go?
No, you go.
Okay. My next one, and I'm sort of veering off course just a little bit with this, but it's worth mentioning. There you go. Is the song by Jackson Browne. I know he's not really a classic rock artist, but Dr. My Eyes is a song that classic rock plays. And also, I think Running on Empty, I think they also play. Yeah. Most of his other stuff is a little more mellow and perhaps more pop. But he had a song from the Running on Empty album, last song on the album, called The Loadout / Stay. And it's a long, it's got to be like 7 minutes long. And it's basically an ode. It's really tastefully done. It's an ode to the nameless guys, the roadies. He uses that word roadies. I don't think I had ever even heard that word before. It's an ode to the roadies, the nameless, anonymous roadies who do all this manual labor, setting up the stages and setting up all the equipment and setting up everything. And then when the show's over, they take it all down and load it all into the trucks and move on to the next town. And to me, hearing the song, even all those years ago, it was unquestionable. Hearing that song, it was unquestionable the genuine feelings of appreciation he had for the work that these guys do. So I really like the song. Always liked it.
Well, what's funny about roadies and loading in and loading out is you go through this cycle. When the band first starts, unless they have a friend with them, like for instance, I think I've told you before, if you go to the Whiskey A Go Go on the Sunset Strip, where I lived for a long time, whiskey load in and load out is on the street, Sunset Boulevard. It's right there. There's no back alley. There's no side. Like, I forgot the name of the road. That road goes up the mountain. So when band A, and it was funny, is you see bands that you and I would know, like Great White and Faster Pussycat and Bullet Boys, where they all come in there, and it's like a beehive, because band A is getting their poop out of there, and band B is getting their poop in there, and they're running into each other because there's no other way to get in and out of there. So they're the load in and load out. It's really cool to watch. And a lot of people know each other, and like, hey, bro, oh yeah, oh that's my drum kit, that's my, you know, sometimes you'll see they'll have one roadie, right? But those bands would probably have a roadie, probably their friends, right? But, I've seen a lot of little bands. It's them, and like sometimes I've helped people put the drum kit up or the bass, you know, the bass speaker up in their truck. So
right.
I'm like, I try to help them. Yeah, it's thankless. I did not know that song, to be completely honest.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I love Jackson Browne. I mean, I love him.
It got a fair amount of play over a period of a couple of months in late, that would be 1978. And the song Stay is actually a remake of an early 60s doo-wop song. So the two were attached together. It was the Loadout followed by Stay, but one runs into the other. So you get them all in one song. And the song Stay is sung with that falsetto. It was not Jackson Browne doing that vocal. Well, he does the vocal of the song, but the falsetto is by somebody else who does that. Yeah. Anyway,
cool. I think I'm out of material. It's all yours.
Okay, I got more. The next song is going to be Into the Great Wide Open by Tom Petty.
Don't know it.
You don't know the song, or you?
I don't think I do. Now, if I heard the melody, I'm pretty good with the melodies. But
okay, so you know what? I'm going to see if this will play. Tell me real quick if any audio comes through, because I think. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
I have heard this song.
I figured you had. Okay, so I'm not gonna let that play forever, but most people will know the song. But I never knew anything about the lyrical content. So when I find out that this is a song about the record industry, I go, oh, really? I didn't know that. Let me tell you just a little. They wrote a couple of lines here about it. A storyline following the unlikely rise and inevitable fall of an upstart musician named Eddie Rebel, that the director. Oh, so okay, so that's what it's about. He was just singing about Eddie. So Eddie is this aspiring musician. What happened was some movie director who was directing the video, he wanted to turn it into like a mini film. So the song is only like 3 minutes long, but the video ends up being 7 or 8 minutes long. And I think Johnny Depp and a few other celebrities are in it because it was filmed on a movie set. So it's just a little side story behind that. Okay, let's move on. Oh,
well, hold on. Since you brought up that one.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna make you laugh now. Would you think this song "Shooting Star" is about the industry or about a guy in the industry by Bad Company?
In my opinion, it's about an aspiring guy who wants to be a rock star, but he burns out. You know, better to burn out than fade away. He burns out through what, alcohol or drugs or whatever. Yeah. He wanted to be a star, but he burned out on his.
I have a request.
Go ahead.
The rest of your life, when you say that little mantra, you got to say it like the curtain. I got something to say.
Your audio's going out there.
Highlander Kurgan.
Oh, okay. No, it's good. That's good. Which, by the way, was an unexpected surprise when he throws out that line. It was good, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh man, I'm gonna go for. I think he's the best villain in any movie ever in that movie. That's my opinion.
I can't disagree with that.
He's equal to Vader. I was like, oh my! You and I were like, who is this guy? Where did he come?
Oh yeah.
All right, go on.
Okay, the next song is going to be "We're an American Band" by Grand Funk.
Grand Funk Railroad, yeah.
Another song everybody knows. It was a #1 hit back around, I don't know, 72 or 73, something like that. But what had happened was this was like their third or fourth album. They were coming off of an album that didn't sell. And so they were under immense pressure from the record company to do something great. And I think that they hated the fact that the record company didn't want them to be creative geniuses. They wanted them to make money. It was all about the money part of it, you know? So that song is written in response to that. Like you said, it's not called show, it's called show business. But they ended up having several #1 songs.
I love that band. I mean,
yeah. But I have to tell you, I don't want to go off track here, but I have to tell you, that remake they did of The Locomotion, I really hated that.
I didn't like the song originally. I hated when Kylie Minogue did it.
Right. But I mean,
hot. Please don't do that ever again.
Right. But if I have to hear it, I would like to hear the 1963 version by Little Diva. Yeah. But
Agreed.
Grand Funk, I was just like, what are you guys doing? So anyway, I can leave that one out. But otherwise, great band who I really like.
They probably lost the bet.
You never know. It's possible.
So it's funny how, because I read that about Grand Funk Railroad, and it triggered. Here's what it triggered. If you guys get a chance, you and I haven't talked about this yet. There's a show on what streaming service. It's called The Offer. It's about the making of the movie The Godfather.
Oh yeah, I heard it was really good.
It's mind-blowingly good.
I heard that.
What I didn't know, when Mario Puzo wrote this book about his family, I forgot what it's called, and no one showed up. And his book signed, there was 0 people there to buy the book and sign it. He was destroyed, and his agent, just like the agent for Grand Funk Railroad, said, "Why don't you write something about what you know? You're an American band. You come to rock and roll. And those are the lyrics of the damn song, right?" And he goes, she goes, "Well, people perked up. We started talking about the mafia." He goes, "Really?" And then he started writing this song writing this movie about the mafia.
Wow.
You've got to see it. They have actors playing all these people. It is, and it is incredible. I've only seen the first episode. I'm blown away.
Okay. I've heard, I mean, many people have told me it's really, really good.
Yeah.
You know, there's only a finite amount of time to do.
No kidding. Yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. My next one, hold on a second, I got it right here, is Turn the Page by Bob Seger.
It's about the record industry? Wow.
Well, it's about life on the road. It's about touring. So it's not specific about the record industry, but that all sort of gets wrapped together.
Well, you know what makes me think that's right? There's one line in there, and somebody said to me, because someone said, said to me now, it's probably to give them glasses, but you and I have both been in bars where we shouldn't have been. Someone's got to make their obligatory comment, and then the guy goes, everywhere you sometimes hear, is it woman, is it man, because he's got long hair. And a working dude trucker would not have long hair, right?
Right.
In the day. So that makes perfect sense that he's got his Bob Seger long black hair, and someone wants to pick a fight with him, you know.
Right.
Metallica's cover of that song, it makes you want to cry.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I was like, whoa now.
But that's a great song. You and I have been, for years, we've been very open about having very mixed feelings about Bob Seger. Some of the stuff I do like, and some of it I do not like at all. But I think this is one of his better songs. Yeah,
it's sometimes when the original, like when James Hetfield's singing it, he enunciates, and you can hear everything he's saying. Like I didn't realize some of the words of that song when Bob Seger sang it, just because it's probably mic'd. And we talked about how back then the recordings levels and all that crap, the way they would record was terrible because of technology. Because Steve and I have got an argument about it once a week about this. Steve, one of our guest hosts, and but when James Hetfield's singing it, it's a time to make your stand. Like, you're gonna fight, or you're gonna have to take this crap for the rest of your life. You know?
Right.
Great song.
Okay. Next, this is not a classic rock song, but it still deserves mention. The song is "Video Killed the Radio Star." Okay. Yeah.
Buggles. Yep.
Now, yeah, the Buggles. Now, the reason this one's worth mentioning is because it's not real. The song is not really specifically about video. It's about technology. You know, so in a small sense, video is changing the radio industry because but in the more general sense, as technology changes and especially improves, it changes everything, including the music industry. We just got our warning, so we're going to want to wrap this up in the next few minutes. So, but I always liked that song. I thought it was catchy, and it has the honor of being the first video ever played on MTV.
Did you see? Have you ever heard the original? That's the cover, you know. The original guy who wrote it as a cover. That's the cover.
I did not know that.
It's totally weird, different. It's not bad. I actually kind of like it. I do like the Buggles version. And people like, if you want to go to the classic rock connection, here it is.
Okay.
That band caused the breakup of the band Yes. Those guys joined the band Yes for, I don't know, I think they made the album Drama, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I have to go do my research. And that almost led to the greatest super band of all time. It was called XYZ, X Yes and X Zeppelin. When Bonham died, those guys were going to join Zeppelin and make this. Can you imagine the sun would have, the earth was split open.
Right.
For reasons it fell through. So
okay.
That classic rock, the video killed the radio star.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look that up now because that's good stuff. Good stuff.
Good
okay. So as we wind down here, do you have any nominations to our ever-growing classic rock playlist?
You go.
All right, you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, I'll go. All right, so this week I posted 2 songs to our channel by a band called The Tea Party. Have you ever heard of them before?
Yeah, you told me about them. Yes, you did.
Okay.
I like them.
Okay, so they started out, I guess, in the early 90s, and they've put out albums steady for 15 or 20 years, a lot of good material, but it's this one particular album from 1995. It was the first exposure I ever had to them. And I listened to it and I was just blown away. I was like, how did these guys not become huge? Because
it's cruel. It's a criminal.
It really is, because the music was good. It's got a very Jim Morrison type of vocal. And musically, they've got a lot of those Eastern influences, like kind of like Led Zeppelin. The songs are well written, well crafted, and well sung. And especially in the mid 90s, it just seems like radio would have gobbled that up. So maybe because they're Canadian, I don't know why they didn't catch on, but I posted 2 songs. One is track 1 from that album, The Edges of Twilight, called Fire in the Head. The other is track 3 called Correspondences. I'm nominating both of those to the classic rock playlist. I just want to point out that number 1 is a 4-minute hard rocker, and song 3, Correspondences, is more like a slow burn. I don't know how to describe it. It's not a hard rocker. It still has a good edge, but it's a slower. But anyway, both songs were posted with the lyrics, so watch those when you get a chance, and I think you're going to really love them. So that's me. Go ahead.
And we talked about this band, I'm pretty sure, on here, a band called Saga.
Yes, Canadian.
On the Loose. That's it's a very good album. They had MTV Play, and then I don't know if a black hole opened up and sucked them into the alternate universe, but I don't know what happened. Some of these bands, they come up, you're like, oh my God, what happened? And then maybe their second album poops out.
Right. You know, there's a particular mystery around a lot of these Canadian bands, because other than Rush, so many of them, Aldo Nova, April Wine, they had their moment and then just kind of disappeared. And Saga is the same thing, because, dude, they've recorded 20 or 25 albums.
Really?
Yep, they have. But they only had that one moment where they had the big hit that was played on MTV, On the Loose. And it sounded like the launch of a new band that was going to be huge, but that was the end. We never heard from them again.
Yes, it's tough. I tell people all the time, I was in the movie business a little bit. You could go on a plane, get to LA, be an extra on a movie tomorrow. $178 for 8 hours of work. You cannot go anywhere and go get a job as a musician tomorrow unless you have a friend and a connection. Right? It's a hard road.
Yeah.
Another time we could talk about bands that I personally know who didn't make it, or they're on the, and they work so hard. And when you see them play guitar, drums, or bass, or sing, you're like, I thought if I could sing or do stuff like that, I would be rich and famous. It's not that easy.
Right. Yeah.
It's not easy at all.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts?
That was it.
Okay, then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for this week. This is the great classic rock debate. I'm Kenny.
Paul.
Yes, and thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, everyone. We love you.
We do.